So today we're just continuing our discussion about formula fields, and we'll start with this use case number 2, which says if the opportunity amount is under 10,000, the commission should be 15% of the amount. Otherwise, the amount is, if the amount is 10,000 or more, the commission should be 15% of the amount. All right, so this is the scenario that we have to handle, and we're going to build a formula field to dynamically display the commission amount the user is expected to get, or the agent or the salesperson is expected to get. So, and this is about opportunity, right? So let's go view an opportunity record and then see and understand what exactly we need to build for this use case. If you understand what the problem is asking, that means we have 50% solved the problem, right? We don't want to start solving the problem without understanding what it is exactly asking for. So let's say we have this opportunity. The amount is $16,000. If the amount is $16,000, then the commission amount should be per the requirement. If it is more than 10,000, then the commission amount should be 15%. So we have to calculate 15% of this number and then make that as our commission amount. If it is less than 10,000, then we have to multiply this number by 10% and make that amount as our commission amount. Okay, as you know, in sales, when people make sales, they get commission, they get paid via commission. That could be one of the way that they can get paid. So that's the purpose of this assignment. So what we have to do here is we have to build a formula field. That's one way to configure this requirement. So we'll go to setup, and then we can directly click on edit object option here so that it can take us directly to opportunity object. And from there, we'll select the fields and relationship and click new. And the data type that we're going to select is going to be formula type. And click next. And let's give it a name. So we're going to name it as a commission amount. Okay. And then what is this formula field going to calculate? It is going to calculate an amount, right? An amount. So what we can do is we can select a currency here. You can also select a number data type, but we want our result to have that $sign next to it. For example, if you go to here to this field, you see this $sign by default attached to it, right? That's because the data type of this is currency. Sometimes you have other numbers here, other fields that they would display number, but they wouldn't display this $sign next to it. That's because the data type of those fields is number, not a currency. So if you want this $sign to be displayed in the field, which looks nicer, then you want to go with the currency data type. So that's why we're going to select the currency as the return type. After our formula field does that calculation, which means it is going to multiply the amount by the percentage, and as a result of that, we want to return a dollar amount, right? We want to do a calculation, and then we want to return that result in dollar format. That's why we're selecting here another data type. So in formula fields, we're basically picking this type twice. First time when you create that field, you're selecting the formula to be the data type of this field. And in the next page, you're selecting what is the return type. What this formula is going to calculate and return, and whatever returning in our case is the currency. That's why we're selecting this option. We'll click on next. And now here is where we build our formula. So in this scenario, what we're going to do is we're going to use the if function, because our scenario, it says if the amount is less than $10,000, then the commission should be 10%. If it is 10,000 or more, then the commission amount should be 15%. Okay, so there are two conditions here that we have to account for. That's why we'll go with the if function. So let's go ahead here, and from the available functions that we have here, let's select the if function and insert it here. Okay, and that's what the if function looks like. So here we have to put our logical test. What is our logical test? Our logical test is we have to check the amount in this field. That's our logical test. Okay, so what we will do is we will click on this. We'll click on this, highlight that, and then go to this button and click it, insert field. From the opportunity, we want to get that amount field selected, and then click on this insert button. That amount field API name got inserted here, and then our logical test is, as mentioned earlier, we have to test it. We have to test whether if this amount is bigger than 10,000 or not. Okay, so basically we're checking if that amount is under 10,000. That's our first condition. We're going to test if it is less than 10,000. Okay, if it is, we will return the commission amount as 10%. All right, so we'll go back here. Let's say, is this amount less than 10,000? Okay, if it is less than 10,000, then the commission amount is going to be value if true. Value if true, we will replace that with our commission amount if this is less than 10,000. And that is supposed to be how much? That is supposed to be amount times, okay, whatever the amount in this field is. So we will multiply it. We will multiply it by 10%. So multiply 10%. We will enter 10% as 0.10. Okay. Now, if it is more than $10,000, then the commission amount should be 15%. Now, one thing that we need to know here is if the amount is not less than 10,000, okay, if the amount is not less than 10,000, then it is going to be 10,000 or more, correct? There's only two options here. The amount can be either less than 10,000 in that field, or it can be more than 10,000. So in our next scenario, we don't have to necessarily check if the amount is bigger than 10,000 or not. This logical test will already handle that. We're checking if the amount is less than 10,000. If it is less than 10,000, then this is going to be our commission amount. If it is not less than 10,000, then it means the amount is bigger than 10,000 or 10,000. If the amount is not less than 10,000, it means the amount is 10,000 or more. So that's why we will take whatever the amount is in that field, okay, and multiply it by 0.15, because 0.15 represents 15%. Okay, this is how our formula is going to look like. So let's check the syntax to make sure we don't have an error. So everything looks good here. Let me put that if function over here again and take one more look. This is our logical test. This is our result that we will return if this logical test is true. Whatever the amount in that field, if that's less than 10,000, this is going to be our commission amount. If the amount is 10,000 or more, then this is going to be our commission amount, which is value if false. That's what it stands for. So let's get rid of this part. And description, you can copy paste this to be your description. And it will click on next. Make it available for these two profiles. Click next. Add it to all the page layouts and save. Then we will navigate to our opportunity record page to see the results. Let's refresh here. And we'll go to details tab. Opportunity amount. Let's see where it is. So it's not getting displayed here yet. Let's do a hard refresh. We're looking for the okay, commission amount. Here it is. So in this scenario, it calculated commission amount as 2,400 and this amount is more than $10,000, right? If it is more than $10,000, what we do is we take this number, $16,000, and then multiply it by 15%. 15% is 0.15, and that results in $2,400. Let me go to another opportunity which has the amount as less than $10,000, right? So I'm checking this amount for the opportunities. Every opportunity has that amount as more than $10,000. But let me go to this opportunity and set a value here, which is going to be less than 10,000, and save. Now our commission amount is 900. So what did our formula field do? It first checked this amount. It realized that it is less than $10,000, right? Because it is less than $10,000, it took this amount, 9,000, and then multiplied it by 10% and produced 900 as the commission amount. If you replace this with, let's say, $8,000, then it's going to take this amount and multiply it by 10%, which gives us $800 as a commission amount.